All right, let's just jump right in. What we're seeing right now is one of the most incredible, most ferocious technological arms races in human history. And right at the very heart of it all is a resource crisis. I mean, it's so profound that it's forcing the entire AI industry into this massive, high-stakes pivot that could either unlock superintelligence or it could cause the whole field to just collapse in on itself.
I mean, to really get the kind of pressure these labs are under, you just have to look at what went down at the end of 2025. It was insane. In just 25 days, we saw 4 of the most powerful AI models ever built get dropped one after another. It kicked off with Grok 4.1, then literally the next day, Google hit back with Gemini 3. A week later, Anthropic launched Claude Opus 4.5, and then OpenAI, in what their own people were calling a code red situation, they rushed out GPT 5.2, which was basically a preview of their huge Orion project. This wasn't just healthy competition, you guys. This was moving at singularity speed.
And the new capabilities, they were just staggering. Take this number, 1501. That is the ELO score that Google's Gemini 3 hit on the LM Arena leaderboard, which is kind of like the ultimate cage match for AI models. It was the very first time any model had ever smashed through the 1,500-point barrier. And believe me, that was a moment that put the entire industry on notice. But you gotta understand, this race isn't just about clever algorithms and benchmark scores. Nope, it's about raw, brute force power. Elon Musk has said it a million times. The winner in the race to AGI is gonna be whoever can build out their GPU infrastructure the fastest. And that's why his company xAI is building this thing called the Colossus data center, with the goal of deploying 1 million GPUs. A million! That's the mind-boggling scale you need to train these next-gen models, like the upcoming Grok 5. Right. And this relentless push for bigger models and more hardware, it's absolutely breathtaking. But here's the thing, it all hinges on one single input. And that brings us to the fundamental question that is quietly but absolutely haunting every single AI lab on the planet. You see, the fuel for this entire AI engine is data. And not just any data. It has to be high-quality data created by us, by humans. And the big problem, the one that people don't really like to talk about too loudly, is that we're running out. The well is truly and officially running dry. And look, this isn't some far-off hypothetical science fiction problem. No, it's happening right now. As researchers confirmed just last year, the supply of high-quality pre-training data is already rapidly diminishing. We've basically hit a wall. Now just think about what that really means for a second. Every single public book that's ever been digitized, every scientific paper on archive, all of Wikipedia, basically all of the good stuff on the internet has already been scraped, processed, and fed into these massive models. The primary resource for building the future of AI has been, well, exhausted. So what do you do when you've run out of fuel? You have to invent a new kind. And this right here is where the industry's giant pivot really starts. Faced with this data shortage, AI labs are turning to a really ingenious and, let's be honest, potentially very dangerous solution. The thinking is, if you can't find more human data, well, just get the AIs to make it for you. This, my friends, is the rise of synthetic data. So let's be super clear about what we're talking about here. Synthetic data is high-quality, totally artificial information. We're talking essays, articles, computer code, conversations that is generated by one AI for the sole purpose of training another, newer AI. It's literally AIs teaching AIs. And the way they do it is actually incredibly clever. There are these frameworks like Synthalam that automate the whole process. So first, an AI will read a human-written document and pull out all the key concepts. Then it starts combining those concepts to invent new questions just within that one document. But here's the really wild part. It then builds what's called a global concept graph to synthesize ideas from totally different documents, creating these novel connections that just never existed in the original human data. And at first blush, the results look fantastic. I mean, just look at the scaling curve. It shows that as you pump in more and more synthetic data, the model's error rate goes down in this beautiful, smooth, predictable line. It follows the exact same scaling laws that human data does. So on the surface, it looks like a perfect, infinite source of fuel. But there's a catch. There's a ghost in the machine. And this is where the story takes a much darker turn. What happens when your entire universe of information is just the perfected, cleaned up output from another AI?
What happens when these models stop learning from the messy, chaotic, beautiful reality of humanity and start listening only to the echo of themselves? This is what researchers are now calling the curse of recursion. This is the actual title from a foundational paper on this topic. And honestly, it reads like a chilling warning to the entire industry. The core finding is that when you train new models exclusively on the output of older models, they don't get smarter. They start to forget. This whole degenerative process actually has a name. It's called model collapse. You can think of it like a form of digital dementia. The AI gets trained on data that is, by its very nature, a summary, a simplified version of reality. So over successive generations, the model starts to lose the weird stuff, the outliers, the strange details, the nuances of human creativity. It literally forgets the very reality it was built to understand. It's like this. Human data is messy. It's creative, it's unpredictable. It is full of the weirdness and the brilliance of actual life. Synthetic data, though, it's an echo. It's a cleaned up pattern. It's missing all those strange, important details. The AI starts to believe that the map is the territory, and over time, its own map just gets more and more simplistic until it's useless. Which brings us to the central, bizarre paradox of AI development today. We are in this frantic, all-out race to build a super intelligence, but the very method we're now forced to use to get there might actually be making our models progressively dumber. Okay, let's just break this down one more time. The race to AGI needs more data than humans have ever created. Period. So that forces every major lab to start relying on synthetic data to keep getting bigger and better. But over time, that same synthetic data causes model collapse. So this mad dash to build a godlike AI has accidentally become a race against our own creations, forgetting what it even means to be intelligent in the first place. So that's the gamble. Right now, every major AI company is betting billions and billions of dollars that they can reach artificial general intelligence before this curse of recursion really sets in, and their models just collapse into a pale, simplistic imitation of the real thing. They are all desperately trying to capture lightning in a bottle, just hoping they don't end up holding an empty jar.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next video.